So I figured to follow Ben's magic act, the only way we can do it is by doing alchemy. So we have to make gold. So, and that's what we're going to do. And I just made a psychology discovery. Burning your fingers really calms the nerves. So it does work. So if you're ever wondering. So we're going to make gold first, and then we'll jump in. So how do you make gold? This is boiling water, and it's very hot water. You can see we'll just boil that. So we add, and this is a secret, please don't tell anybody else how to make this, because we're making gold. So this is citric acid, sodium citrate, which is lemon juice. You add some there. I'll turn the heat up a little bit. And somebody's going to have to keep an eye on this. So look at the light. There's a laser beam here, and you barely see the light in there, right? So it's going to take a little bit to finish cooking. So if anybody sees the reaction take place, which may happen very fast, it's not. It's still, nothing changes, right? There's no gold there. You'll see when we make gold. So we'll go back to that after my presentation. And I need this. Okay. So I figured, usually when I give presentations, I have data, equations, definitions on my back, which usually guide my talk. So I figured I would start with a physics definition to resonate. And why physics? Since I'm a chemist, but I'm a physical chemist. And since I was an undergraduate, I always resonated better with physics than chemistry. So I figured we start with the physics definition. So resonate, to produce or exhibit resonance. Resonance, the condition of a body or system when it's subjected to a periodic disturbance of the same frequency as the natural frequency of the body or system. At this frequency, the system displays an enhanced oscillation or vibration. That's a mouthful, and I'm sure you're not here for a lecture in physics lecture on resonators, and I'm not qualified to give that either. So I found a better one, which resonates much better with me. Resonate, to produce or exhibit resonance. Resonance, a relationship of mutual understanding or trust in agreement between people. So my goal here, and I'm going to show some science, is by the end of my presentation to have these two definitions to resonate. So what do I do? Why am I here? I'm here because I levitate cells. It's true. I levitate cells to make tissue, to culture cells in 3 dimensions. Why do we care about that? Yes, we do know how to culture cells, to grow cells. We take a petri dish. We've known this for decades. Add the cells in your petri dish. They go to the bottom. They attach to the bottom of the plastic, and they grow. And they grow on this flat surface. And since it's flat, it's two-dimensional. That's why we call two-dimensional cell culturing. But today there's a paradigm shift in biology that we understand that tissue, the body, if you pinch yourself, you're not two-dimensional, you're not flat. Cells are interacting with other cells of the same type or different types. And now we understand that this 3D environment really defines the biology of tissue. So, and this is, you don't have to be a scientist. This is a 2D culture, flat. This is an in vivo lung tissue. There's much more architecture. It's very different. And it's important for you to have this 3-dimensionality. If you're doing life science research, if you're doing regenerative medicine, if you're doing cancer research, if you're working with stem cells, it's key. So how do we provide the 3D environment? We have what we call the nano shuttle. The nanostructure is a nanoparticle assembly of gold nanoparticles and iron oxide. Iron oxide is the magnetic part of this nanoparticle assembly. So if you close your eyes and envision a cell or a sphere, okay, and you decorate this cell with magnetic nanoparticles, just like you do with Christmas tree, okay? And then you put a magnetic field on top, just like a magnet, right on top. And the cells feel the field, and they come up. The nanoparticles carry the cells to the top, and you bring them together. And what you see here, this little sphere here is a glioblastoma spheroid levitating for 48 hours. Your magnet's there, and as you can see, it's levitating. You take the magnet out, it goes back to the bottom, we put it back on, so it's a 3D structure. So we say, right, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we have a movie here, the first 15 minutes for you to have an idea how the magnetic field brings the cells together. See, this is the first 15 minutes of culture. You bring the cells together. These are adenocarcinoma cells. You just bring them together and they start the cell-cell interaction, and they form these 3D structures. And this is an adenocarcinoma cell. Play a movie. There we go. This is an adenocarcinoma cell that generate these 3D structures overnight. And it's very important. When the cells come together, they excrete these proteins, the extracellular matrix, which is the cement, the glue that keeps the tissue together. And that's very important. And it's not trivial to get that when you have two-dimensional cell growth. So these are really cool cells. These are endothelial cells. These are cells that make blood vessels. You know, look at your arm, right? You see your blood vessels? They're elongated. And we levitate these cells. These are the only cells that make this type of structures. As soon as you bring them together, they start stretching and form these blood vessel type of structures. And this is, besides being, I think, a nice picture, this is a very one of our latest results that we published last month in collaboration with a friend of mine, Dr. Misha Coloni, where we took stem cells and we told the stem cells to turn into fat tissue. And then we mixed the stem cells with the endothelial cells, which are the green here. Endothelial cells, the one that make blood vessels. And it generated this structure where the red here are the fat cells, the adipocytes, the green are the endothelial cells starting to make a vasculature. And this is not trivial to do. In their lab, what they're trying to study is the relationship, and they just published a big paper trying to understand the relationship between cancer and obesity. So, and if you want to study human biology in vitro, if you want to study human biology, you need an in vitro tool that can generate this type of a structure. So one question that I usually get, we missed turning the gold here. So it turned, but we'll go back to that in a second. But we just made alchemy here, but we'll go back to that. So I always get this question. Did I plan to levitate cells? I went to my notebook and wrote down how it's supposed to work. We're going to add this many nanoparticles to these many cells and put this magnetic field on top and they'll levitate. No, it didn't work like that. That's how it started. Water polo. Seriously? Who hasn't had a water polo inspired idea? All right. So yes, you would think that I was watching the Olympics and I saw, these speedo-wearing people swimming around on top of the water and coming together. And I'm like, that's what I want to do with my cells. I want to bring them together. So, no. 3 of us play water polo. 3 of us play water polo. 3 of us are scientists. 4 of us are friends. And 4 of us like beer. So a lot of our ideas did come by hanging out and interacting and writing things on a napkin. Actually, I have the napkins. And this is where the life resonating aspect comes in. When you have multiple, and I'll use scientific language, multivariables resonating in the same system, you have this magnified signal. And we're very different. We are a very different cultural background, very different personalities, very different scientific areas. I'm a physical chemist, Tom is a physicist, Rob is a biophysicist, Dave is a business guy that actually we have a company, which is N3D now. But the key catalyzing factor was water polo. If it wasn't water polo, we wouldn't be here. And because we're from such different scientific areas, because we're resonating on these different aspects, we were able to make this a very productive project. So, and that's where my life definition goes in. And now we have to make the two resonate. So it's going to get a little complicated, but just bear with me. And so, if anything, from this next few slides, this is true in physics and physical chemistry. When you have many resonating events, you have this enhanced signal. And this is what we show here. This is a surface-enhanced Raman spectrum of a molecule imidazole. And we know peaks. You know when you have a large peak, it's a large signal. So this signal here is 1 billion times larger than this little bump here that is right on the bottom. And why? Because you have these nanoparticles that resonate with these molecules, that resonate with light, and we get this huge signal amplification. So there are several events resonating. And we'll break down quickly here. We have your light, you have your nanoparticle, and you have this snowman-like molecule there, right? It's a 5-member ring molecule sitting, and you have a nanoparticle right there, a nanoparticle right there, and it's vibrating, right? And they can vibrate like this, they can vibrate like this, they vibrate like this, like that. They do, it's true. So they're vibrating like this, and the light comes in, right, which is an electromagnetic wave, and hits the nanoparticle. And the nanoparticles, metal nanoparticles, gold nanoparticles, on their surface, they have what they call surface plasmon. That's where the electrons live. And because the light's an electromagnetic wave, when it has the right frequency that resonates with the surface plasmon, you get what is called the surface plasmon resonance. So the light transfers the energy to the nanoparticles. And when you get this coupling, it transfers the energy to the molecule that vibrates and generates that huge signal. So, back. So it generates this huge signal. And that's why, because you have many resonating events, transfer of energy, working together, and you had this billions times larger signal. And if you don't have this resonating effect, light comes in, bounces off, which is very similar to what you see here. Light bounces off the nanoparticles and doesn't get channeled, and it just gets lost. We get no enhancement, no signal enhancement. So this is what I'm trying to tell here, that there is precedent in physics where you have a multi-resonating system where the energy is guided together. And in life, you also have those type of amplified events. Who hasn't worked on a team or seen a team that you look at the individuals, they all look great on paper, right? But they don't click, they don't resonate. And the outcome is usually poor, and a lot of times negative. But if you have a team that resonates, it's always an amplified result. And I guess TEDx is a good example. You have so many people, so many different backgrounds. When they resonate together, you get these wonderful events. So this is my message. And that's the two definitions. But going back to alchemy now. So we have our gold here, and this is gold nanoparticles. And if you look at the light coming through, this is the light bouncing off the nanoparticles. Remember, When you don't have the nanoparticles, the light interacting, there's no line. The laser doesn't bounce off. Do you see that? There's nothing. You have your nanoparticles. And I want to draw the parallel of resonating between, because I started talking about we're going to do alchemy, right? Making gold. And alchemy, it's much more than just turning lead into gold. I think alchemy, if you read a little bit, it's more about really resonating, and it's true, resonating to cues from nature, from life, from the people around you. And I'm paraphrasing Paulo Coelho. It's really taking these cues from the nature, from people around you, to really channel this energy into turning lead into gold. And in a metaphorical way, it's how we can make our life better. So that's my resonating message, I hope.